All right, I'm here
Yeah,
with Chris Christenson. How's it, brother?
good, yeah.
Yeah, we're stoked to be working with you.
Stoked to be
Um,
in there.
there's a lot of guys that do know you, and some guys that don't know you. So I wanted to start off with your shaping career.
All right.
How you got into shaping
Yeah,
and how long you've been doing it, and just a little brief history of things.
yep, yep. Yeah, I started, actually had a neighbor growing up. I grew up just outside of Long Beach, and my neighbor is actually from Kaimuki.
Oh,
And,
really?
yeah, he's a board shaper, and well, he's a backyard shaper, but a classic one. And so ever since I was a kid on training wheels, I'd always watch him in his garage. He was an engineer, one of the aero bases in LA at the time. But anyways, I learned from him, and I always kind of had it in my blood. My grandpa was a carpenter, and then I was super into skating in the '80s, and used to build my own skate ramps and all that.
I
But
can totally see you
yeah, but
in the backyard.
anyways, I just I don't know. I just asked the guy if I could borrow his tools, and then started making my own boards, and that was it. And then all I used to ride them in the contest scene, and all my friends ripped, and then their friends ripped, and that just kind of snowballed. Um, but and then I got a long history here in Hawaii. As far as I've been shaping in Hawaii since 1999. This was my first shaping trip out here. So I've been shaping out here for almost 25 years, off and on. I usually come out here about 4 to 6 times a year, and made a lot of friends. Worked in a ton of factories out here. Obviously, I'm really good friends with Jason Kashiwai. He's helped me out a lot, and yeah, I know the island well and surf plenty out here, and
Yeah.
always stoked to be here.
So, the board, we'll be getting some boards from you. The lane splitter, can you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, so you guys are getting the lane split or swallowtail. It's a board that I've been doing for about 8 years right now. It's been really successful, and the cool thing, it's a twin fin based board, and kind of works. It's got a really wide range of terrain that it can handle. Obviously, I got a lot of people in Indo that have been pushing them pretty hard down there. William Eliotti, Techie, Oscar Langburn, all those guys. So it's definitely by no means a grovel board, and by no means a retro board. I'm anti anything retro, so I won't build it if it's not something that progresses. But also, my philosophy is always like something that'll stand the test of time. That's why I kind of try to use minimal logos and not do too much throwaway stuff. A board that you can forget about for 10 years, and then open your garage door one day and go, oh yeah, and enjoy it 10 years later,
Yeah.
or pass it on down. But yeah, the lane spur will perform in pretty much a lot of surf out here. People, surfers now, like Keone and everyone, they're pushing the big surf and like a lot smaller equipment than the day. So it really excels in head high surf, and but still grovel and pushing the double overhead stuff. I usually, for your daily driver, I drop 3 inches off of it. So if your daily driver is a 6.0 performance thruster, I'd go down to about a 5.9, or a couple inches below your height is kind of my general throw. And yeah,
And the swallowtail, we're stoked on that.
yeah, swallowtail's got a nice look to it, and there's a few coming in with belly channels, so those ones might go first.
Yeah. So, when I see the picture of the ones with the channels look like they were kind of like, not like channels that I always see. They were kind of rounded and it scooped out and it had like a channel to it. It looked different in the picture. Is it like a normal channel where it just runs from the nose or from the middle all the way through?
Well, they're belly channels,
Uh-huh.
so they
What's a
start.
belly channel?
Belly channels don't go through the tail,
Uh-huh.
so these kind of start closer to the midpoint, and they fade out right behind right at the rear of the fin, like kind of fading out.
Oh.
Yeah, and there's 4 of them, and then all the angles I use and all that. It's just over the years of trial and error, and obviously I'm a big AB fan, Alan Byrne. So from Burning Spears, I used to always love his channels and studied every board I saw of his. So yeah,
Right on.
yeah, and the whole idea with the channels is obviously to keep the water from flowing off the rail and just funnel everything through the tail. So they're really fast. Only downside with channels, you don't want, when it's super windy, they can hang up and get sticky.
Right on. And they're all polys. What's the glassing on the boards?
Everything's coming in poly. They're gonna be coming from my factory, Moonlight Glassing. Amazing glass jobs. Everything's coming with rail spray, and yeah, they're gonna be solid.
Yeah.
And still light. So yeah, my OP series is just, it's simple. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't need to come up with a new model name on my performance line every year or any of that crap. So I'll make the updates on my own, and you know, every few months, sometimes every other week, I'll make an update just based on team rider feedback or moving a fin 1/16 of an inch or something. But it's simple as OP1 is kind of your performance groveler. The OP2 is your daily driver, high performance squash tailboard. Little novice friendly. The OP3 is the swallowtail version. Little more user friendly, but still a great board for a pro. And the OP4 is a round pin. So the 2, 3, and 4 are all the high performance ones for like good surf. And the basic differences are not just the tails. Obviously the 2 has the squash, the 3 has a swallow, the 4 has a round pin, but each one serves its purpose in the quiver. So you could actually have kind of design the whole OP series as a quiver. And so, like, you know, the ones when it's just groveling around or whatever, your knee high to shoulder high, or your soft head high days, the OP2 is gonna push a lot of your, you know, I'm picturing lowers, Rocky Point, bowls, something like that. The 3 is an amazing. The 2 and the 4 have the most rocker. The 3's the one if you're not sure if you want 2, 3, or 4, you want it all around. I usually recommend the 3 because it's got the most balanced rocker and the easiest one to ride in that series. But yet again, it's still not going to handicap a high level surfer. Great travel board. The OP4 is when it's on. It's got a lot of bend in the curve, real positive outline curve, but yet it's not a step up. So.
Oh, wow.
On.
About one of his highlights of the shaping career.
Highlights of my North Shore shaping career. Actually, I got a pretty good one. Is 2009 Eddie, Greg Long, and he just got invited that year, and I hand shaped that board. Did that trick. I was super into World War I art on like Warcraft. And so that black and white board he did was a dazzle design, which they use on ships because that was the whole line to the zebra and the submarine to the ships. You know, like it would throw the submarines off on depth perception and all that, just like a zebra would a lion. I got super into that, and that's where the Red Cross developed from too, because innocent ships that were bringing in immigrants from Europe to Ellis Island were getting blown up for no reason because they thought they were acts of war. And then that's when the Red Cross developed, so they painted the Red Cross on the boats, keep from innocent bystanders getting blown up. So anyways, yeah, I did that dazzle design, and I was actually in a bad spot in my life, and the economy was super bad. I just didn't have much money to my name, but I'm also like really like competitive, and I hate missing out on shit. So Greg flew, and I think that was like the first webcast event too. And I remember like, man, I wish I could be there, you know, and I was still at home in San Diego, and I was talking to one of my friends in New York, and this typical Italian. He's like, hey, you going to Eddie? Because all the buzz is out. And I'm like, man, I got to stay back and work, man. It's not really in my budget right now. He's like, oh, your boy's going to win it, and you're going to be pissed because you're not going to be there. I was like, oh, okay. And I hung up, and then I already had my I already had my shaping background here in Hawaii, so I started calling a bunch of people up in Hawaii. I'm like, hey man, I might come out. You guys need any boards? And and I scratched a few orders, and I'm like, all right, boom, bought the plane ticket. And then Greg got in, and then Greg asked me to caddy for him, and then I remember that was the 2009 one, and that they're gonna have it on. I think the Eddie was on December 9th. They're going to have it on December 8th. Remember that day was just like full, kind of nasty, closing out. And I'm thinking I'm sitting in the channel that day just going, no. And then they canceled that day. didn't even sleep. And then the next day they called it on. I was like, oh, I still got to go out there. And I just saw a bunch of closeouts. And then they announced, hey, caddies, stay on the beach and all that. And anyways, long story short, Greg was down. He needed to get like 2 10s, a 9 and a 10 to win the thing, and he did, and he won it. And that was our biggest highlight of my whole career, really.
Right on.
So,
What a good story. Right on, Chris.
Okay.
All right, thanks.